You look at your to-do list. There are 20 different items ranging from a major work project to buying milk and replying to a friend's text message. And as you scan the list, a familiar feeling begins to rise in your chest, a wave of overwhelming pressure. Your brain is not just seeing a list of tasks, it is seeing a list of 20 emergencies. Your heart rate quickens, your mind starts to race, trying to figure out how to tackle everything at once. The thought of relaxing feels impossible. Your brain is telling you that all of them are equally important and all of them must be done right now. If this feeling of constant low-grade panic is the soundtrack to your daily life, you've probably asked yourself a frustrating question. Why do I live with this constant sense of pressure, feeling like every single task is a crisis? You might have concluded that you have a time management problem, that you just need a better planner or a new productivity system. But what if this isn't a problem with your schedule at all? What if it's a deeply ingrained anxiety pattern, a psychological loop that keeps you stuck in a state of frantic reactivity? This experience has a name, the urgency trap, and you are not alone in it. This is an invitation to understand why your brain is sending you false alarms and to learn how to reclaim your sense of priority, your focus, and your calm. So what exactly is this urgency trap? It's a state of chronic stress where your mind loses the ability to distinguish between what is truly urgent and what just feels urgent. It's a pattern driven by anxiety. In a healthy, calm state, our brains have a sophisticated system for assessing priority. The prefrontal cortex, the logical and rational part of our brain, can look at a list of tasks and make strategic decisions. It can identify the one or two items that are truly important and time-sensitive while placing the others in their proper context. But when we are living in a state of chronic stress or anxiety, this system goes offline. Instead, the amygdala, our brain's ancient alarm system, takes over. The amygdala's job is simple: to detect threats and trigger the fight or flight response. The problem is, it's not very sophisticated. When we are chronically stressed, the amygdala becomes oversensitized. It starts to interpret minor stressors with the same level of alarm as a genuine crisis. The nervous system gets stuck in a low-grade state of fight or flight. So, an unanswered email, a looming chore, or a minor social obligation can trigger the same physiological alarm bells as a real, immediate danger. This is what we mean by a flattening of priority. To your anxious brain, everything feels like a threat that must be neutralized immediately. One of the most common ways this trap shows up is feeling intense stress about small, non-urgent tasks. For example, you might spend an entire morning feeling a growing sense of panic about having to make a routine phone call or schedule a dentist appointment. The task itself is minor, but in your mind it looms large, casting a shadow over your entire day. You might find yourself agonizing over the perfect wording for a simple text message, as if the fate of the relationship depended on it. This is the urgency trap in action. Your anxiety has taken a small, manageable task and inflated it into a high-stakes emotional event. This consumes a huge amount of mental energy that could be used for more important things, leaving you feeling drained and exhausted by a list of things you haven't even started. This leads to another familiar pattern, the compulsive need to answer work emails late at night. You're settled on the couch, finally ready to relax, but your phone buzzes. It's a work email, and it's not marked as urgent. A calm mind would see the email, note it, and decide to deal with it in the morning. But a mind caught in the urgency trap feels a jolt of adrenaline. The internal pressure is immense. Your brain tells you that this loose end must be tied up immediately. It feels irresponsible, even dangerous, to leave it unanswered. So you open your laptop and spend the next hour crafting a reply. You're not responding to an external demand from your boss. You're responding to an internal alarm bell that your anxiety is ringing. This habit not only erodes your personal time, but also reinforces the belief that you must always be on, which only fuels the cycle of chronic stress. Over time, this constant focus on the urgent but trivial leads to the slow sacrifice of your important long-term goals. Think about that online course you wanted to take, the book you wanted to write, the new exercise routine you plan to start. These are the things that truly move your life forward, but they are rarely urgent. They require deep, focused time, which is the first thing to be consumed by the demands of the urgency trap. You spend your days putting out small fires, answering emails, running errands, organizing files, and you feel incredibly busy. But at the end of the week, you look back and realize you've made no progress on the goals that actually matter to you. This is one of the most insidious costs of this pattern. It creates a life of frantic stagnation, where you are always busy but never truly moving forward. And finally, this all culminates in an inability to truly rest because of a nagging feeling of productive guilt. When you do finally give yourself a moment of downtime, your mind doesn't switch off. You might be watching a movie, but your brain is running a background scan of all the things you should be doing. Rest doesn't feel like a right, it feels like a form of procrastination. This productive guilt is the voice of the urgency trap, telling you that it is not safe to be still. It tells you that if you stop moving, you will be crushed by the avalanche of tasks you're neglecting. This prevents you from ever truly recharging, ensuring that you enter each new day already depleted, making you even more susceptible to the feelings of stress and overwhelm that fuel the trap in the first place. It's a common myth that feeling this constant sense of urgency is just a sign of being a highly motivated or conscientious person. We live in a culture that often glorifies being busy. We wear our stress like a badge of honor, as if a packed schedule is a sign of important life. But it's crucial to distinguish between genuine productivity and anxious reactivity. A truly productive person is not the one who is frantically trying to do everything at once. They are the one who has the clarity and composure to identify what is truly important and to focus their energy there. They work hard, but they also rest deeply. The urgency trap, on the other hand, is a state of constant, scattered motion. It's the illusion of productivity, driven by a need to soothe anxiety, not to make meaningful progress.
Imagine a software developer named David. For years, he believed his constant stress was the key to his success. He would start his day by immediately answering every email that came in overnight, feeling a rush of accomplishment. But by noon, he was already exhausted and had made no progress on the complex coding problem that was his main priority. He was always busy, but always felt behind. After learning about the urgency trap, he decided to try an experiment. For 1 week, he would not open his email for the first hour of his day. Instead, he dedicated that hour exclusively to his most important coding task. The first few days were incredibly difficult. The urge to check his inbox was almost unbearable. But by the end of the week, he had made more progress on his project than he had in the entire month prior. He was less busy, but far more productive. So, how can we begin to escape this trap? The first step is to create a moment of pause between a task and your reaction to it. A powerful cognitive tool for this is to ask yourself a simple question. Is this a lion? This question is a playful way to engage your logical brain and differentiate between a real threat and an anxiety-driven thought. Our nervous systems evolved to respond to immediate, life-threatening dangers, like a lion on the savannah. The physiological response you feel when you see an unread email, the racing heart, the shallow breath, is that same ancient lion response. When you feel that surge of anxious urgency, pause and ask, Is this situation a genuine, immediate danger? Is this a lion? The answer will almost always be no. Acknowledging this helps you down-regulate your nervous system. It creates a small pocket of space where you can make a conscious choice instead of being driven by an unconscious, automatic reaction. A second practical tool is to implement the one thing rule. The urgency trap thrives on a lack of clarity. When everything feels important, you don't know where to start, so you either freeze up or you start with the easiest, least important tasks. The one thing rule is a focusing technique to combat this. At the beginning of each day or the night before, look at your to-do list and ask yourself, what is the one thing that, if I get it done, will make the biggest positive impact on my day or my long-term goals? Identify that single task. Then commit to working on that one thing first before you get pulled into the whirlwind of other people's priorities and minor tasks. This doesn't mean it's the only thing you'll do all day, but it ensures that your most valuable energy is spent on what truly matters, not just on what feels loudest. Finally, because the urgency trap is a physiological pattern as much as a mental one, a crucial practice is to learn how to intentionally calm your nervous system. You can do this with a simple 3-minute breathing exercise before you even look at your to-do list. Before you engage with the day's demands, find a quiet place to sit. Close your eyes. Slowly inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle of a 4-count inhale and an 8-count exhale for just a few minutes. The extended exhale is key. It actively stimulates the vagus nerve and engages the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural brake system. It sends a powerful signal to your brain that you are safe. Starting your day from this calmer baseline makes you far less likely to get hijacked by the false alarms of the urgency trap. The journey out of the urgency trap is not about finding more hours in the day. It is about finding more clarity in your own mind. It starts with the radical understanding that not everything that feels urgent is actually important. That feeling of urgency is often just a symptom of a dysregulated nervous system, a false alarm that you do not have to obey. Learning to pause, to breathe, and to question that feeling is the first step to regaining your ability to prioritize. By learning to calm your nervous system, you are giving a profound gift to your thinking brain. You are creating the mental space necessary to act intentionally, not just reactively. You can begin to make conscious choices based on your own values and goals, rather than being pulled in a dozen different directions by the frantic energy of anxiety. This is the path to true productivity, the kind that leads to meaningful progress and a deep sense of accomplishment without demanding your peace of mind as the price. What is one task on your list today that feels urgent, but that you know is not truly important?